everyone, it's Devi with doitlikedevi.com, a lifestyle blog, so including things like travel tips. Also now as a part of my little corner of the internet, I've been documenting my immigration journey. So if you've been watching any of my videos on my channel, you know that I recently filed the I-130 to bring my spouse over to the United States. And these wait times are just super brutal. You know, it's especially hard when you know that love should be a right and not just a privilege, and it just so happens that you and your significant other are just from different countries, and then there's the pain of waiting involved. So I'm going to be talking today about long distance relationships and the best tips to survive the wait times and not to try to not just get so caught up in the obsession with just looking online every single day. Even for me, I find myself struggling with that. But today is to offer support for all of us in a similar situation. We miss our significant other or others, depending on what kind of family-based immigration you're applying for. But the point is, we're not with the people that we want to be with, and we have to endure these waiting times. So again, today's video is my top 10 tips on the best ways to survive the immigration waiting times and keep your long distance relationship strong. I'll be going into some of the struggles and how we can kind of overcome them, and just to maintain a strong, healthy relationship while you're going through the process. So tip number 1, have fun with videos and video filters. So there's a lot of different apps on your phone, primarily Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat, that have filters. And you know, of course, everyone's seen that dog one or whatnot, but there's a lot of fun ones, and you can kind of you can record and send some to your significant other. They can send it to you just to kind of be fun and playful and flirty while you're apart. Or when you're together, you record some together, so you have these moments and these memories to look back on when you guys are separate. It's always just a nice idea, and it can cheer you up, you know, say you're having a stressful day at work and you're able to just look at your photos and look at those videos while you're, you know, on a break or something at work. Tip number 2 is to be in constant communication. Communicate whenever you possibly can. Even I take my phone with me to the bathroom at work just to send off some quick texts. And just remember, for the time being while you guys are apart, communication is all you have. So it shows your level of investment when you can make that time for the other person, just to check in, just to see if they're okay, to let them know that you're okay. You can make time for anything. And if that person is your priority, then you're going to make time to text them, even something small, even an emoji, so that they know you're okay and everything like that. My husband and I, throughout the course of the day, not every single day do we hit every single one of these, but we send videos, we send text, of course, voice messages. So not like the ones where it goes voice to text, but just like the audio recording, which we do on Facebook Messenger, Giphies. And we also just send, like, you know, different kinds of content, like photos of how our day is, a photo of our lunch even, or even if one of our family members sent a photo, we just send that photo to them. In my family, I've had a lot of new babies being born, so I have a lot of new nieces and nephews, and I send photos of them to my husband. And also we do those things because we both have iPhones, but the little like handwriting messages, so you actually literally write something with your finger and send it off. So it's just really personalized, and it kind of just gives them the sense that you're there with them, and that's what communication is for. And you know, use this technology in a good way. To piggyback on that one, tip number 3 is communicate on a series of different platforms, whether that's Facebook Messenger or even writing on their Facebook profile, WhatsApp, email, Snapchat, texts, anything and everything, just to kind of diversify it up. You know, it's not necessary, but it kind of adds just to the dimensions of communication. So obviously for things like email, you know, that might be a little bit more serious stuff. Say you're coordinating travel plans together, maybe that's the best place to have the email reside. But my husband and I have kind of informally developed a system where we correspond the most on Facebook Messenger, and then for certain important things like that we need to have documentation wise, or he sends me his work schedule, we do it on WhatsApp. So we use different communication apps for just different communication reasons. And you could take it to the next level. Like you could have a different personality or flirt with each other on the different platforms. I don't know, like maybe you're edgy on Instagram or whatever it is. I know a couple that they Snapchat each other from the morning until the evening, both of them on both sides, so they can kind of feel like they're included in each other's day. And just to see the little simple things that maybe are mundane, but they're special when you're far from that person and you don't have access to just seeing them. You kind of want to know what they put in their coffee that morning. Tip number 4, and a thing that I like to do sometimes too occasionally, is to use social for appreciation posts. Like say it's your man's birthday, so you put a photo of them with a caption on Instagram or Facebook. You do those man crush Mondays or something, just some kind of appreciation post to highlight your partner. If people like your friends or whoever think that's cheesy, then that's their problem and it's not yours. But it's nice, especially if you both are on that platform, to recognize the other person and to let them know that, hey, you're thinking of them and you are proud of them and you want to showcase it to people. There is a bit of social validation that is involved inherently, and you might as well use it while you're apart. Tip number 5 is to make the time zones work. Now, most likely you guys are in different time zones, whether they're like half a day ahead or just, a handful of hours. The point is, you're probably not in the same time zone if they're a foreign spouse of yours. As I mentioned before, my husband sends me his work schedule on WhatsApp every week, and that just allows me to look at his work schedule, and we schedule in when we're going to FaceTime, because we try to get in an hour of FaceTime every single day. It doesn't always work out like that depending on the day, but for the most part, we try to be very consistent, and his schedule fluctuates more than mine. Mine's pretty consistent, so at least there's one of us anchoring down the schedule and the other person is just, adhering to all these different changes. And even if it doesn't work for more than 10 minutes in the day, the point is you got to see them, even if you're like on your way out to something. It's just that quality time watching them over FaceTime or Skype or some kind of video chat aspect. Tip number 6 kind of goes with the same thing as tip number 5, but it's video chatting and how important video chatting is, just because you are live with that person for a moment in time. It's a little bit different than recording a video and sending it to them, but when you're live and you're able to have that, that instant feedback with the person, there's nothing like it. And there's a lot of different apps that support video chatting, whether it's FaceTime or Skype. Facebook Messenger has a call feature. I think even Snapchat and Instagram might have it. WhatsApp definitely does. But you'll definitely want to get those moments in. And fun things like being on Facebook Messenger for a video or FaceTime, you can take photos of each other too. So even if it's not your cutest photos, like my husband has a ton of ugly photos of me on his camera roll, just me in the middle of a sentence or something, but it's fun memories for the both of you guys. And again, all you have is that while you're apart. Tip number 7, try to plan a trip so you have something to look forward to. There is nothing like having something to look forward to that keeps motivating you. You can do a countdown or whatever it is, even if it's 3 months, 4 months, 5 months out. It just gives you something to look forward to and makes the everyday ins and outs of life actually motivating, because you know that you're one day closer to seeing them again. And now I know not everybody has the means or the time in their work schedules to take off and go visit their significant other, but if you do and you can sacrifice or work a few more shifts, it's totally worth it. That way you're like living for something, so to speak. Tip number 8, and this is a tough one for international relationships, but sending gifts. And the reason why I say it's tough is because there's the different currencies and the exchange rates. So even if you're trying to send money, you're losing money sometimes on the foreign transaction fees or the conversion rate, because depending on where you go to convert the money, you're losing a bit of it, and it's sometimes a hard pill to swallow, especially when you're a couple where every dollar counts. But anyways, you're still able to send gifts here and there if it's a special occasion, say an anniversary or their birthday or something. My husband, when we first started dating, he sent me flowers. So there's things like that. There's Amazon Prime for, countries that support Amazon, and just things like food delivery. Recently, my husband, he this whole past week he had food poisoning, and so I was feeling really helpless, and I was like, I can't be there for him. What do I do? So I just went onto a food delivery service app that I know is available in his country, and I was looking up what kind of soups or breads or something to send him so that way he could just wake up and have it there. So it's little things like that. And I know that sometimes you cannot buy like electronic gift cards for people that belong to a different country, either because you don't have a billing address associated with an address in that country. But as much as you can, just try to see what is available to you online. Most of it obviously is going to have to be an online delivery. You cannot necessarily call and order something because of the international calling, but it is possible to send gifts, or even if you were to make something. Like one time for an anniversary, my husband made us a video, and it didn't cost him anything, but it meant more than everything because he did it and it's from him, so I really loved it. If you are just sending straight money, I do recommend something like PayPal. And even if things like the PayPal thing isn't available to you, then just show it in your daily actions. Be there for them, support them emotionally, however. And that's the gift. That's the true gift right there. Tip number 9 is celebrate the month anniversaries. So we celebrate the dating anniversary and our marriage anniversary. So we have 2 different dates, which are, nicely spread out enough so that we have 2 things to look forward to each month. Kind of similarly to what I was saying earlier about planning the trip. At least, those 2 special days of the month are just something that you can look forward to and be excited about and feel special that day of. And final tip number 10 is remember the fights are just the fights. So whether you're in person or you're over FaceTime or you're calling them anything, just remember that the time together on the phone, in person, is all finite. Until that moment where you guys can live together and carry out your daily lives, the time is finite. You have to go back to work or you have something else to do. They are on a different time zone, they're pressed for time, anything like that, or you're on a trip together, you have to return back home. The time's finite, so just use that time wisely, pick and choose your battles, and don't take each other for granted. Every moment, every minute is precious with them. And also during that time on the phone, communicating in person, however, just remember to be sensitive about cultural differences. It came up a few times for me and my husband. Even something small like a term of endearment that you would think is cute and affectionate, they might take as insulting or it has a different connotation or nuance in their culture. So that's just one small example, but just be sensitive to them and just communicate if you're having a problem. Again, pick and choose the battles. That's a hard one that I've had to learn too, because I used to think that every single thing needed to be addressed, and it doesn't. In the grand scheme of things, there's a few things that you can let slide, and hopefully your partner gives you a break as well. And just remember that even with the pain of these immigration waiting times, being separated from them, that is worth more than any life without them. And of the 7.5 billion people on the planet, they chose you and you chose them. So what are the chances, right? So you have to remember those things, and I hope your process goes quickly. Please check out my other videos. If you could like and subscribe or comment, share the videos, I would really appreciate it. That way we're able to get information to anyone that it could help. And lastly, if you think I'm missing something or you agree or disagree with something, then please comment below. It's our community, so I'm happy to have you here, and thank you again so much for watching.